Shalom, Apostle coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to entitle this video, Babylon the Great is Fallen, is Fallen. And this is from Revelation, the 18th chapter. I'm going to read the first two verses. I may read a couple more verses after that. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Anyway, it says, Revelation 18 verse 1, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Second verse, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now what John saw, what he witnessed was the complete destruction of America, which Babylon is code, I would say, for America, because they couldn't just say America because they would outlaw the Bible, the scriptures. So they would have to put it in a codified it and only give it to the ones who have the spiritual eyes to see what the scriptures are really talking about. And we believe that we have this this insight. We strongly believe it. That's why we're constantly putting up videos. That's why we're constantly spreading this truth, and we're using this medium called the World Wide Web, mainly YouTube, to push this word. And today's date is March 2nd, 2018 year of prophecy, and we are beginning to see the prophecies coming to pass. Now, like I said, John the Apostle, which the certain religious writers call him John the Revelator, because he received these revelations on the Isle of Patmos, where he was sentenced to the salt mine on that particular island by Domitian, the younger brother of Titus, the son of Vespasian. And these guys, Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian, they were some real devils, man. And they have to be back here today. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump is one of the members of the Flavian dynasty. The Flavian dynasty consisted of these three men, because everything is reincarnated. Now, don't tell that to a Christian. Don't tell them that the Bible teaches about reincarnation, because they won't get it. It goes over their head, and that proves that they don't have the truth. Anyway, like I said, the second verse where it says Babylon the Great is fallen, he saw the complete destruction of this place called America. Now, I'm going to read an article or two to back up that this place is falling. But now, the articles that I'm about to read are just going into the slow decline of this place called America, or Babylon the Great. But what's to come after this decline is complete destruction of this place. So this is from Insurge Intelligence, and this was put up on July 17, 2017, so about 7 months ago. 6-7 months ago. It says Pentagon. Pentagon study declares American empire is collapsing. So the military might of this system comes out of the Pentagon, which is in the area of D.C. It's actually in Virginia. Anyway, it says report. Let me read that again. Pentagon study declares American empire is collapsing. So they're admitting to two things. They're admitting, number one, that America is an empire. An empire, loosely translated, means a country or a rulership that has control over other countries, sovereigns, or rulership. It says so they're telling you that they know that they're an empire, just like the Roman Empire, which, by the way, this is the Roman Empire all over again. This is Revelation 13 chapter, whose deadly wound was healed. And that deadly wound that was healed is America. It says report demands massive expansion of military industrial complex to maintain global access to resources. Let me read that again. Report demands massive expansion of military industrial complex to maintain global access to resources, meaning they have to build more bases, military bases, in other areas on the planet to have control of the resources in order to take the resources. All right, and that's what the Roman Empire did. It goes on to say, published by Insurge Intelligence, a crowd-funded investigative journalism project for people and planet. Support us to keep digging where others fear to tread. It says, in the first of a series, we report on stunning new evidence that the U.S. Department of Defense is waking up to the collapse of American primacy and the rapid unrevealing of the international order created by U.S. power after the Second World War, because America really came into its full military power, world power, was after the Second World War. That's why the American dollar or the Federal Reserve note became the world reserve currency. Now it's being called the petrodollar, where one country wants to buy oil from another country, they would have to convert their money into Federal Reserve notes in order to buy oil from another country. So the middleman would be the U.S. It says, and that's going to lead me to another article. It says, but the Pentagon's emerging vision of what comes next hardly inspires confidence. We break down both the insights and cognitive flaws in this vision. In future pieces, we will ask the question, what is really driving the end of the American empire? And based on that, I'll tell you, it's easy. The Most High sets you up to rule for a certain time, and now your time is done. And based on that more accurate diagnosis of the problem, what is the real solution? There is no solution. There is no solution. You had a time to rule, and now it's time for you to go down. Anyway, reading on, I was going to check something else, but I'll come back to it. It says, an extraordinary new Pentagon study has concluded that the U.S.-backed international order established after World War II is fraying and may even be collapsing, leading the United States to lose its position of primacy in world affairs. The solution proposed to protect U.S. power in this new post-primacy environment is however, more of the same, more surveillance, more propaganda, strategic manipulation of perceptions, and more military expansion, meaning more occupations. The document concludes that the world has entered a fundamentally new phase of transformation in which U.S. power is in decline. International order is unraveling, and the authority of government everywhere is crumbling. Having lost his past status of preeminence, the U.S. now inhabits a dangerous, unpredictable post-primacy world whose defining feature is resistance to the authority. It goes on to say, danger comes not just from great power rivals like Russia and China, both portrayed as rapidly growing threats to American interests, but also from the increasing risk of Arab Spring-style events. These will erupt not just in the Middle East, but all over the world, potentially undermining trust in incumbent governments for the foreseeable future. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link in the description box, and I want to go briefly to this other article. And this is from RT. It says Iran, this was put up March 1st, which was yesterday, 2018. Iran bans use of U.S. dollar in trade. It says currency exchange in Iran. It says Tehran has announced that purchase orders by merchants that are based on U.S. currency, which is the world reserve currency, or the petrodollar, on U.S. currency would no longer be allowed to go through import procedures. According to local media, the policy is in line with an official request by the Central Bank of Iran, a CBI, and is specifically meant to address the fluctuations in market rates of the U.S. dollar. I'm going to also leave this in the description box. Basically, what they're doing is they're doing their own thing. And this is Iran. Now, when you read Ezekiel 38 chapter, it speaks about Persia. Now, that's the actual name of Iran. The name Iran, and I forget the individual that asked the world to no longer call Persia, but call it Iran. I mean, I did it. I spoke about it in one video. I'm not going to go hunt for the information, which anybody can do. Anyway, this place, Iran, is mentioned in the Bible under the name the Persians. anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave these two links in the description box, and you can read the rest of the the two articles, which I pretty much got to the nitty gritty of what these articles are all about. So things are happening, man. These prophecies are coming to pass. 2018 year of prophecy, man. Prophecies are coming to pass. You have Donald J. Trump, the current president or king of Babylon, who he set up what was called a tariff against any country outside of America that deals with steel and aluminum, that import their steel or aluminum to this country. I believe this steel was a 25% tariff, which means a tax. And aluminum, I believe it was 6% or 10%. And now these countries that import steel and aluminum to the United States, they're in an uproar right now. And this is turning into what's called trade wars. Look that up. And trade wars lead to real wars. So the U.S. sending their troops into Iran to show their dominance is going to lead Russia, which is spoken of also in Ezekiel 38, and that's going to lead to the War of Armageddon. So everything is, the pieces of the puzzle are coming together, and we can see the big picture now. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.